Hello, reader. Thank you for joining. This is the Christian Readers Community Podcast. On this podcast, we will be discussing with fellow readers and authors. You will never lack for good conversations and recommendations of Christian books. If you're a lover of literary works, fiction and non-fiction, then you have made the right stop here. Thank you for joining us again, and I hope you listen to every podcast that we get to put out for you. Thank you.
Dr. Kent Hovind was raised in Peoria, Illinois by his father and mother, who took him to all kinds of churches so he could glean from all of them. He found the Lord at 16 and became a Baptist preacher at 20. He received the newspaper one day to see a headline, "Dinosaur Bones Discovered from 60 Million Years Ago." Dr. Hovind wrote a letter to the editors saying they were fossils from Noah's flood. That letter got published and started a war in Pensacola. He went back and forth with naysayers until he was invited to debate them. His views were so well received that he kept getting asked to speak at church, eventually all over the world, quit his job, and started his ministry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Christian Readers Community. My name is Faith, and I have with me here today Dr. Kent Hovind. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hovind.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you so much, and thank you for also accepting my invitation to be here. And I've been hearing and seeing a lot about you and your fascinating philosophies. So I'd like to ask you about a few of them today. You're not just a man of faith, but you're also a man of science. Could you tell us a little about your background in science?
Well, thank you. Yes, ma'am. I have been a Baptist preacher for 50 years. I gave my heart to the Lord, got saved 55 years ago, went off to Bible college and got ordained, and I've been involved in full-time Christian ministry ever since. During that time, I taught high school science and math for 15 years. I love science, and when I moved to Pensacola, Florida in January of '89, I started a ministry called Creation Science Evangelism, using all the scientific evidence to defend the Bible. The Bible says God made everything in 6 days. That's the only way it works. Too many plants and animals depend upon each other, called symbiotic relationships. They have to be made within a day or two of each other. The Bible clearly says the earth was created about 6,000 years ago, not millions of years ago. Somebody's wrong. The atheists are wrong. The earth is not millions of years old. So I began teaching about science in the Bible back in 1989, full-time ministry, and traveled all over the world, been to 37 countries. I never got to Nigeria. Sorry about that. But I traveled all over teaching on science in the Bible.
I mean, you just said something very, prior to listening to you, I've not really heard it said this way, because I've heard the theory that the world is several millions of years old. Could you tell us why you believe that theory is wrong?
If you look at the Bible in Genesis chapter 5, it says Adam was 130 when his son was born. And then he lived 800 years after that. Then it says that boy was 105 when his son was born. It gives all the dates right there in Genesis chapter 5. Anybody can add them up. When you go to after the flood in the days of Noah, you go to Genesis chapter 11, it starts giving more numbers, how old they were when their son was born. Anybody can go through and add those numbers up. The Bible teaches the earth is about 6,000 years old. No question about that. Now, if you want to look at all the scientific evidence, we see lots of things that say the earth cannot be billions of years old. For example, the earth is spinning, but it slows down 1,000th of a second every day. Well, if the earth is slowing down, then it used to be going faster. How far back in time can you go before that would become a problem? Well, they do all the math and say, man, you can't go back more than about, I forget how many million years, not billions of years. The earth would be spinning so fast it would throw everything off. So there's all kinds of scientific ways to show the earth simply cannot be billions of years old. In my video series, which we send all over the world in 42 languages, with Creation Seminar Series, it shows how that on DVD number 1 is all 30 or 40 different scientific ways to show the earth is not billions of years old. Video number 2 tells about the Garden of Eden. Why did they live to be 900 years old? Bible says Adam was 930. Why? And reptiles, like snakes and lizards, never stop growing. Never. What would happen if a lizard could live to be 900? Well, it'd be 60 feet long. That's the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs lived with Adam and Eve. They did not live millions of years ago. So the scientific evidence is pretty clear. This earth cannot be billions of years old. We see the rivers run into the ocean and they carry mineral salts with them. When it evaporates out of the ocean, it's only water. So it leaves the salt behind. Oceans are getting saltier and saltier every day. Today, they're 3.6% salt. They could have done that in less than 5,000 years. So the salt in the ocean, the spin of the earth, the moon is leaving us a inch and a half a year. The sun is burning up its fuel. There are all kinds of ways to show it's not billions of years old. I'm sorry. If you need billions
Tell us
of years
about the
theory,
second.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What?
tell us about video number 2. Expand more on that, please.
About what?
Video number 2. Yes.
Well, the Bible, video number 2, the Garden of Eden. What was it like? It's very clear just from reading the Bible. The Bible is claiming these people lived to be 900 years old. I'm a firm believer in what's called the canopy theory, that the Bible says when God made the earth, there was water above the firmament. This is in chapter 1. Well, it says later that the firmament is where the birds fly. That would be the air we're breathing. Today, the air we're breathing is about 50 miles thick. We live at the bottom of the ocean of air. Well, if you took all the air around the world and squeezed it down to 10 miles and covered it with a crystal canopy of ice, like a greenhouse, like a big inflatable building, then the air pressure would be greater for the people living at the bottom, and it would be, I think, more oxygen. There's a lot of scientific indicators that the earth used to be 32% or 35% oxygen. Today, the air we're breathing is only 21% oxygen. If the earth used to have 32% oxygen and be under greater pressure, everything would live longer and grow much bigger. Every time you take a breath, you'd get twice as much oxygen in your lungs because it's pressurized air. Many hospitals have what's called a hyperbaric chamber, high pressure oxygen chamber. You go in these big chambers, shut the door, seal the door, put oxygen mask on, and they pressurize it like you're scuba diving. And all kinds of diseases are healed with hyperbaric treatment, high pressure oxygen. So I think before the flood came, the earth had greater air pressure and greater oxygen levels. That's why the giant dinosaurs have very small nostrils. And a Apatosaurus, 80 feet long, had nostrils the same size as a horse. Well, he couldn't breathe in today's world, but back then he could. So all the animals were much bigger and much healthier, I believe. They find fossil clams, fossil oysters, 11 feet across. Today, the world's biggest oyster is 14 inches, a little over a foot. How do you get an 11-foot oyster? Well, things have to be different. Greater air pressure would put more oxygen into the water, and more fish could survive, bigger fish. Everything was different. Today, the biggest beaver is about 3 or 3.5 feet long, but they find fossil beavers 8 feet long. So if you come tour Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama, just type in Dinosaur Adventureland, come see us over here, or go to our website, drdino.com. We go through all kinds of scientific indicators, why they live to be 900, and how that canopy used to protect them. That would also block out some of the UV light, ultraviolet light, infrared light is blocked by a couple inches of ice. The Jews have always taught that when the original creation was here, there was a 2 to 3 finger thick layer of ice around the whole world, a crystalline canopy. And if you watch my video 2, I explain this is why in the Garden of Eden they lived to be 900. Everything grew bigger, much bigger, and lived longer, and everything was healthy. And the Bible says everything was vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian, but they were then. Everything was. After the flood in Genesis 9, God said, Noah, now you can eat meat. And it's perfectly fine to eat meat, okay? But they didn't do that at the first. They were vegetarian, and they had high-pressure oxygen to breathe and filtered sunlight, because that couple inches of ice would block out the UV light, the ultraviolet, the X-rays. They couldn't get through the ice. So they lived longer, much longer.
Tell us why you believe that dinosaurs coexisted with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden.
Right. The word dinosaur was not made up till 1841. Before that, they called them dragons or some other name. But these animals always lived with man. Noah took them on the ark, probably babies. Just be sure to get a pink one and a blue one. And after the flood was over, people killed many of them. They called them dragons. And you'd be a hero if you could slay a dragon. There were many stories and legends of people killing dragons. And there could be some still alive. There are many sightings of what's called the Loch Ness Monster, Lake Champlain. Not too far from where you are. Let me look at the globe here. How far are you from the Congo? You're not far at all, are you?
No, not far.
Okay.
No, we are neighboring countries.
In Cameroon and the Congo, there's the largest swamp in the world. And it's 80% unexplored today. And there have been 50 expeditions going into that swamp. And many are coming back claiming there are small dinosaurs 20 feet long still alive in that swamp. There's an expedition over there right now going on. I had a friend who was over there. He said, Brother Hovind, there are dinosaurs alive in this swamp. And I tell people, if they catch a dinosaur and bring it home and put it in the Brooklyn Zoo, all that's going to happen, atheists are going to put a sign next to it that says, wow, this one survived for 70 million years. It will never convince them to give up their theory. They like that evolution theory. It gives them freedom from God for now.
What do you think about evolution theory? We'll definitely come back to the dinosaur. What do you think about the evolution theory?
I think evolution theory is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of the world. It's nothing but a religion. Nobody ever sees any plant or animal produce babies other than their kind. Humans make baby humans every time, no exception. Cows make baby cows, no exception. Dogs make baby dogs. Now, if you wish to believe they're related and draw lines on paper, well, then that's not science. That's a religious belief. So evolution does not happen, did not happen, cannot happen. I'll debate any atheist anytime. I've had 358 debates with atheists and evolutionists. Many are on our channel. drdino.com is our website. That lists all the channels we're on, 9 or 10 different channels. Go to Kent Hovind Creation Scientist .lightcast on Roku and Rumble, and I don't know, we're on a bunch of programs. You can, Genesis Baptist Church is our YouTube channel. But I cover all these things in great detail. There's overwhelming evidence. Dinosaurs always lived with man. They went by a different name. They're mentioned in the Bible. Leviathan, the fire-breathing dragon, Job chapter 41. Behemoth in Job 40. It says he has a tail like a cedar tree. Some reference Bibles say it might be an elephant. Elephants don't have a tail like a cedar tree. This is talking about a brachiosaurus or an apatosaurus. So I think dinosaurs lived with man in the garden, always lived with man all through history. Noah took them on the ark. After the flood, many died off in the new climate change. People, they couldn't live long enough to even reproduce. Lifespans dropped off from 900 to 400 to 200 right after the flood. Today, hardly anybody makes it to 100. It was just a different world back then. And reptiles, some reptiles could not even live long enough to reach maturity. So they died and could not even give any babies. But some might still be alive, some of the smaller ones. Okay?
So you're saying that some animals went into extinction, right?
Right. Extinction happens occasionally. That's the opposite of evolution. That's losing.
So why not
species.
dinosaurs?
Well, some probably are extinct. I don't question that. I think that the bigger ones could not live in the new climate. That we don't have the air pressure they used to have or the oxygen concentration. So I think many probably died in the climate change or were hunted to extinction by man. There are literally hundreds of stories of people slaying dragons to become a hero.
So tell us about your tell us what you think and how you can reconcile or relate the 6 days of creation to science.
Well, the Bible says God made the light first, the day and the night. He made light. Nobody to this day knows what light is. Give me a jar of it, paint it red. Nobody knows what it is. You can diffuse it, deflect it, refract it, reflect it. You can do all kinds of things with light, but we don't know what it is. The Bible says God is light. So on the day 2, God made the atmosphere. Day 3, he made the trees. And then day 4, he made the sun, moon, and stars. Some people try to say the days are millions of years. Well, then you got the trees hanging around for millions of years with no sun. They could make it one day with no sun, but not millions of years. So I think that the idea that the days are not literal days is crazy. And then it says he made the birds, and then he made the plants and the birds. So I think the order of creation is clear. It has to be normal days. The plants need the birds and other bugs to pollinate them. Have to be made the next day, which is what the Bible says they were. And then, so the 6 days of creation are absolutely, you cannot destroy that scientifically from no scientist has been able to disprove it. I cannot prove it's true. I mean, it was 6,000 years ago. I believe it's true. And I admit that mine is a religious belief. The atheist will never admit theirs is a religion, not science. It's a religious belief. That's all it is.
So how does the Bible prove that God truly exists? How will you use science to actually prove that the Bible is true?
I don't know that anybody could prove it's true. It claims to be true, and nobody's been able to prove it wrong. That's a different way to approach it. But it makes a lot of claims that have been proven true. One atheist told this preacher, he said, I don't believe anything in the Bible. You don't believe anything? He said, the preacher said, if I can prove one verse, would you believe it? He said, yeah. So the preacher grabbed him by the nose and began twisting his nose back and forth till it started bleeding. He said, what are you doing? He said, well, he showed him in Proverbs, the Bible says the wringing of the nose bringeth forth blood.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I think many verses, 33,101 verses in the Bible. Many you just have to take by faith. I don't think they could be proven one way or the other. But those that can be tested scientifically have all stood the test of time. The Bible says plants and animals will always bring forth after their kind. The babies will always be the same kind as the mom and dad. That's all anybody's ever seen.
So could you expand more on video 1 now?
Well, video number 1, I go through about 30 or 40 different ways to show the earth cannot be billions of years old. It cannot be. If you need billions of years for your theory, well, get a new theory, because you can't have billions of years. The moon is going around the earth, but the moon is leaving us about 1.5 inches every year. The moon is receding. Nobody argues about that. The moon is leaving. Well, that means it used to be closer. If you bring the moon back in closer 1.5 inches every year, that starts to become a problem, because the gravity is stronger and the tide would be higher, and pretty soon they would snap together like two magnets. So I cover all the science behind that on video number 1. Just the moon leaving us is an indication the earth is not more than 1 billion years old. But they're telling us it's 4.6 billion. Sorry. The moon says impossible. Then you step outside, you look at the sun. The sun is burning 5 million tons of fuel every second. The sun is losing 5 million tons a second. Pretty good weight loss program. If you go back in time, it was heavier, which makes gravity stronger, which pulls the planets in. So I think the fact that all these planets are in nice orbits around the sun that is losing enormous amount of weight is pretty clear indication. It has not been going on for billions of years. A couple thousand is the most you're going to get out of that. If you look at the human population, today there are 8 billion people in the world. At the time of Jesus Christ, only 1/2 billion. Well, if you plot that on a curve, a logarithmic curve, you'll see the whole world's population started 4,400 years ago when 8 people got off of Noah's Ark. The whole world's population started with 8 people coming off of Noah's Ark, which is exactly what the statistics today would say is correct. If man has been here for millions of years, there'd be a whole lot more people here. It's just not possible for them to be here millions or billions of years.
Wow, very interesting. This is really fascinating. Okay, so could you tell us about Dinosaur Adventureland?
Yes, ma'am.
And
8 years.
Why the fascination with dinosaur? Yes.
Well, my video number 3 of my series is about dinosaurs and the Bible. Satan has been using dinosaurs to teach kids the earth is millions of years old. I'm sick of that. It's not millions of years old, and God should get the glory for the dinosaurs, not evolution. So somebody gave us 140 acres, about 65 hectare, and we've been building a Christian camp, a museum, a science center, teaching about God's creation. But visitors from all over the world, the 78 countries now have come here to visit Dinosaur Adventureland. It's free. is we have cabins people stay in. We teach about God's creation. We give tours on the Jeeps. We have a science center that's 12,000 square feet of very amazing science activities on science and the Bible. Come visit. My video number 4 of my series is called Lies in the Textbooks. In order to get the kids to believe this theory, there are 30 or 40 basic lies that they always teach. They tell the kids that the layers of the earth are different ages and they have names for them, Jurassic and Triassic and all that. It's baloney. They say the top layer is younger. I say, guys, would you answer this question? If the top layer is younger, where did it come from? Outer space? Where's this matter coming from? See, all the layers of the earth are the same age. The flood in the days of Noah created all those layers. If I flip over these sand art toys, it'll make 20 or 30 different layers. Are the layers different ages? No, they're all the same age. So there's no such thing as a geologic column. We covered that on video number 4. Video 5 is about the dangers of evolution. Why is this theory dangerous? Well, we teach the kids they're an animal, and then we wonder, why do they act like animals? Duh. Not complicated. It's what we're teaching them.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And before we go, you are also a preacher. You've talked, besides your fascination and besides you being an apologetic, you are also a man of God, a preacher. Let's talk about people who believe that being a Christian, you're not supposed to have anything to do with science. What would you say about that? What do you have to say about that?
There's no conflict between science and the Bible. There's a conflict between evolution and the Bible, because evolution is not science. Evolution's a religion. You have to believe in it. Science would tell us dogs always make baby dogs. No exceptions. That's observable. We can see that happen. Evolution says, oh, dogs and bananas are related. That's stupid. Tell them I said so.
Some people say that science is different from faith, or science is different from religion. And we see so many countries, where people are, where the government of the day, is instructing their citizens to leave religion and focus more on science. And I've seen so many scientists saying that, well, I'm a man of science, I don't believe in God. But I've also seen Christians saying that science and God, I don't know how I'm going to put this, but they say that science proves everything that the Bible says about God.
Well,
so
God,
yeah,
God claims. God claims he made everything in 6 days. There's no way to prove or disprove that. I've chosen to believe that. Evolutionists say, oh, nobody made the world, it made itself. I don't think that's logical. There has to be somebody outside of the world to make the world. The guy who made this ink pen is not in the ink pen. He's outside of it. He designed all the pieces, made them all, put them all together to make an ink pen. Okay? The guy who designed the computer, he's not in the computer, running around changing numbers on the screen. He's outside the computer. God created time, space, and matter, and we are the ones who are stuck in time, space, and matter. God's not stuck in time. This isn't 2024 in heaven. There's no time. No time at all. You just throw your watch away as soon as you get there. Won't need it. So God is outside of time, space, and matter. He's above it, beyond it, in it, through it, around it. So, yes, no problem whatsoever. There's no scientific evidence against the idea that God created the heaven and the earth. The word science means knowledge. What do we know? And how do we know it? It's how do we know things that can be tested and experimented on and proven in the laboratory. And it's going to be proven that dogs make baby dogs. That can be proven. It cannot be proven that dogs came from an amoeba and are related to a squirrel. That cannot be proven. They believe that. Okay, believe whatever you want. So I think science means knowledge, and science is very limited. It can only do some things. It cannot do other things. It cannot tell us about creation necessarily, other than we look at the creation and say, wow, it seems to be perfect. The moon is just the right distance away, just the right size to have enough gravity to pull our tide up and down. And the tide going up and down keeps the ocean stirred up and makes life possible. If it weren't for the moon, many things would die off on the earth. So I guess I need a more clear question on which exactly, but you're not going to prove the Bible scientifically, but you certainly cannot prove anything wrong from the Bible scientifically. If you think you know some, let me know.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Hovind. This has been a wonderful conversation with you. I mean, prior to listening to you, prior to watching your interviews and also talking to you, I'm actually, I'm a Christian, but I think I've always believed the theory that, the world is several billion years old, but, wow, it's something to really, really, really contemplate on, using the Bible to either prove or disprove scientific theories. And I'm definitely going to give this more thought and more attention from now. Thank you so much, Dr. Kent Hovind. This has been a wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you for having me. Tell your folks, go to drdino.com, DRDINO. Watch all our videos right there.
.com. Oh, definitely. So if you want to reach out, and is that also where people can go to get your books? Because I know you've written several books.
Yes, our bookstore is there. Our books, our videos, all kinds of things on science and the Bible. It's all right there on drdino.com.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Kent Hovind. Thank you so much. And I do hope that when I invite you next, you'll be willing to come again.
Okay. Call me anytime. Be glad to do a program.
Sure, I will. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. This has been a fascinating conversation. But, you should check his website. I mean, I've read so much about him, and it's just wonderful listening to him and listening to what he has to say about creation and science, God and science, faith and science, religion and science, however you'd like to put it. So come your way again next time. I'm saying stay safe, stay blessed, and bye-bye, everyone.